I'm Gregor Thomson, I'm a philosopher and a writer, and I know what the meaning of life is. Welcome to The Struggle. This episode is brought to you by the Struggle for Meaning newsletter. This is a weekly email newsletter that I send out for free every Sunday, a short article concerning the art of embracing struggle. I also send out tips, strategies, recommendations such as movies, music, podcasts and recipes to help along the way. To sign up completely for free, go to gregorthomson.com, the link will be in the show notes, confirm your subscription and make sure you check your spam folder for your welcome newsletter and add me to your contacts to continue to receive it in your inbox for free. And that's it. You're on your way to struggling more and being more productive, healthy and motivated. Now, let's get on with the struggle. This is episode 5 of The Struggle with me, Gregor Thomson. And for this episode, I thought it would be helpful to explore in more depth what constitutes productive struggle and what constitutes unhealthy struggle. Most people would say that embracing struggle seems like a very negative and pessimistic practice and philosophy to introduce into our lives. Why would we want to struggle more in life? Well, the answer to that is in the difference between struggle and suffering. So let's define them first. To suffer is to experience or be subjected to something unpleasant. Now pay close attention to the language there. To be subjected to suggests an outside source is the cause of the suffering. You are being subjected to an unpleasant experience from an external source, and it's likely that it's out of your control. We don't want to go out seeking these experiences. They are not to be embraced, but rather to be accepted. Life will throw suffering your way, and that is inevitable. But what's not inevitable is your reaction to it, and it's better to be prepared for it by accepting that fact. So first accept that you will be subjected to suffering in life. But how do we best prepare for it? Well, that's where struggling comes in. The word struggle is defined as making forceful or violent efforts to break free from restriction. Again, pay close attention to the language there. To make forceful effort is an action. It's something we can do, something within our control. We are all restricted by forces, some out with our control, some within our control. Some we're conscious of, some we're not. And it's through the struggle that we can identify where we're unnecessarily restricted, and through the struggle that we can break free from that restriction. That's the best way to prepare yourself for the suffering up ahead. Again, this may sound like a depressing point of view, but I actually think it's the opposite. There are a plethora of supposed inspirational quotes that circulate the internet, intended to motivate people or to make people feel better about their choices and decisions. These quotes do not motivate me. They are not helpful and they do not prepare you for the hardships and suffering of life. An obvious example of one of these quotes is live, laugh, love. The reason quotes like this inhibit such a frustrated reaction in me is because they are not helpful. Live, laugh, love does not help anyone who is suffering. How does this help the person who can't get out of bed? How does this help someone who is grieving? How does this help someone who is depressed? These quotes do not contain any viable advice that is useful in the long run. Are we supposed to love today? What if I don't love today? What if I'm feeling depressed or anxious? That's where these quotes fall drastically short. They are not helpful the majority of the time. If I felt motivated and happy every time I worked out, I wouldn't work out. However, I can tell you that there are no exceptions to the times in which I've felt motivated and happy after a workout, and that's the point. Motivation and happiness are a byproduct and a symptom of the struggle. You can't find happiness, but you can make it more likely to occur. The struggle is not about how to feel motivated to do difficult things, because the majority of the time you're not going to feel like doing difficult things. It's about being aware of the difficulty of these things and understanding that you will not feel motivated to do these things, but you will feel better after you do them. So when you see people out running, going to the gym, cold plunging, or just being productive in general, they are pressing on the pain side of their hedonic balance in their brain, which will react by swinging back towards the pleasure side. The brain operates via this hedonic balance, in which when we do activities that provide instant pleasure with little to no effort, the balance tips towards the pleasure side as we feel the pleasure of the activity, but then it tips towards the pain side as a symptom. When we eat a piece of chocolate, there's a reason why we want more, and it's the pain that follows eating it. Therefore, it's true the other way around. When we do something that's difficult, that requires effort, we tip the balance towards pain. But then it tips back towards pleasure following the activity. Hence why we feel good after a workout. However, to make things even more complicated, whilst these behaviours are difficult, they're not always a struggle. Some people have built these strong habits of working out, cold plunging, and working long hours over many years to the point where they become second nature. Therefore, if these behaviours are second nature, are they as much of a struggle as, say, taking a rest from all of that? Some people feel so much pressure to do all of these difficult things that they would struggle to just sit down and watch a movie. So what's a struggle for one person is easy to another. We mustn't limit what the struggle is. It's not just what a struggle is physically, it's also what a struggle is mentally and psychologically. The struggle must be meaningful and productive. Don't expect to love every second of a difficult task. However, you should expect to feel that it is worth it. So the struggle is the pursuit of what's difficult for you specifically. It's looking inwardly and questioning your psyche. What are you doing every day that's truly difficult? What are you avoiding? What do you do every day that feels good in the moment but is followed by pain? What could you do every day that would be a meaningful struggle? It could be exercising more, it could be resting more, it could be pursuing a new career, it could be returning to a former career, it could be uncovering trauma from your past, it could be discovering yourself, it could be getting out of bed for 5 minutes, it could be getting into bed early. So the formula is something that's difficult in the moment, pleasurable afterwards, and meaningful to you. Don't be afraid to start small either. A person who's frightened of lifts has to start small to overcome their fear. They must start by simply looking at a lift, for instance. The struggle is sometimes humbling yourself so that the challenge is reduced to small stages, so small that they may even seem ridiculous. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, says that it's about building the habits first. It's turning up to the gym for just 5 minutes, then forcing yourself to leave. The habit will be easier to build before you start increasing the time or difficulty. So to sum up, the struggle is a realistic approach to achieving more and finding true meaning. An inspirational quote isn't going to solve your problems, but a new mindset could. The struggle is a recognition of your natural impulses, the recognition that your mind wants you to be comfortable, and it's the fight against that. No one ever achieved anything meaningful without the struggle. The pursuit isn't of happiness but of meaning. Happiness is simply a byproduct of that. Our minds want us to pursue pleasure, but our souls want us to pursue meaning. The struggle is specific to you. Is it getting out of bed for 5 minutes today? Is it pursuing a more meaningful career? Is it switching off for a couple of hours and watching a movie with your family? Is it a difficult conversation that you're avoiding? Is it running a marathon? Is it going for a 10-minute walk in the morning? Is it addressing painful or traumatic experiences from your childhood that are holding you back? What is something you could do that would be difficult psychologically or physically, but that would bring pleasure afterwards? What could you do that's difficult, but that you feel is worth it? What could bring meaning into your life? The answer lies in the struggle. So keep on struggling. Just a few more things before you take off. First, thank you for watching. It genuinely means a lot to see people viewing the content. And second, if you are enjoying the content, please subscribe. That's the best way you can support the podcast. Now, I'll see you next week.